Hey, it's Joseph with Ghostly Pixels, and in this quick tutorial video I'm going to show you how to apply a vintage texture to a hand-illustrated logo element. Now if you've been following along in the series, if you're a newsletter subscriber, then you've already received two other videos that have led up to this video. So go back to your inbox and we show how to create a hand-illustrated logo from scratch. We show how to scan it in, how to convert it to vector, and now we're on a third and final video. Now if you're not a subscriber, then hit the subscribe link beneath this video to get those other videos. Now if you want to see how to do this in Adobe Illustrator, then I have a different video for that as well, and that link is beneath this video. But here's how to do it in Adobe Photoshop. So let's jump into Photoshop. Okay, here, so on my screen I have these textures I've downloaded. Every newsletter subscriber receives these 5 free textures. You technically don't have to use these exact textures, but I'm going to select one of these. I'm going to use the, zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to use the vintage texture option here at the bottom of the screen. That one looks good to me. Made my selection from my PDF browsing guide here that's included in the download. And so, well, let's use the PNG format. You could use the EPS format. Both work essentially the same for the purpose of this tutorial. Now I'm going to open Adobe Photoshop. I'll create a new document. So let's make it, let's go ahead, default Photoshop size. There we go. Let's create this document. 7 by 5 inches at 300 pixels per inch. That's just fine. Let me close a palette here. I want to see my layers palette, so let me expand that. Okay, that's the key palette for this exercise. So now I can go ahead and drag and drop my vector format logo into this document. So here we go. So that places it in the document, and now this is a smart object. So it retains its vector qualities, so I can scale it and resize it to my heart's content, and I never suffer any degradation in the quality. So now I can move this around. I just switch to the move tool. You can hit V on your keyboard to move it around. Okay, now I want to go ahead and add my texture file. So I'm going to go back to this vintage texture that I'd selected before, drag and drop it onto my file, and now you can see I can hold down Shift, and I can scale this texture, make it larger, make it smaller, reposition it, so on and so forth. I'm certainly not finished here. I can move it around. Here we go. I want it right there. Okay, so I'm not finished yet because right now you can see this edge of the texture. Whereas I don't really want that effect. I want the logo itself to look as though it has some vintage wear and tear applied to it. I don't want to make it look like the texture is sitting on top of the logo. So I'm going to shift click on both layers, and then I'm going to click the folder icon. So that creates a new folder group with both layers in it. So I'm going to double click on the top layer. That opens the layer style dialog box. Under knockout, I select shallow, so that will apply this knockout effect to the layers beneath the texture layer that are within the same folder. And now for fill opacity, I'm going to select 0. Now my texture is applied only to the logo itself. And even if I change the background color, if I select the background layer and I type Command A, and then I click, if I go to Edit Fill, or type Shift F5, and even if I select a different color, we'll have a nice 50% gray. Well, geez, that didn't, I'll make it a little bit lighter. All right. So even here, you can still see that the effect is only applied to the layer. There you go, see? So it's only applied to the logo itself. So for this project, we used one of my freebie textures that all newsletter subscribers receive. However, if you want to get your hands on a premium 100 texture library, then you want to go ahead and click the link beneath this video. Now this is a library, a bundle collection of 8 of my top selling texture collections all in one that you can have at a discounted price. So these took me about 90 hours to create from scratch. We have EPS formats, we have transparent PNG formats, we have handy PDF browsing guides. So this puts at your disposal an arsenal of a huge variety of different textures. So if you want to take advantage of this, then go ahead and click the link beneath this video. And good luck on your next design project.